If you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk far, walk together. These golden words from Ratan Tata carry the quiet weight of legacy, and today they feel more relevant than ever. As India rises to become the leading nationality investing in Dubai, it marks more than a statistics. It marks a moment of pride, of positioning, and collective progress. With Dubai's population touching approximately 4.1 million, Indians now make up a significant 38%. This isn't just presence, this is belonging. And yet, as I speak with seasoned investors and first-time global buyers alike, there are a few recurring questions that come up. Thoughtful, important ones. How do I transfer funds from India to Dubai legally and safely? Do I need a local bank account? What taxes should I be aware of? And perhaps the most honest one, if I ever need to bring the money back, what happens? Hi, I'm Janvi Daryanani from Lord's Empire Realty, where every detail is intentional and every experience is built for people who think long term. Let's walk through these together, calmly, clearly, because when it comes to capital, compliance and confidence, clarity is your greatest asset. To start, let's understand FEMA, the Foreign Exchange Management Act. Introduced in 1999, FEMA was India's way of stepping into a global economy, making international investments easier, cleaner, and structured. Under this, the Reserve Bank of India introduced what we know as the Liberalized Remittance Scheme, or LRS. Here's what that means for you. Every Indian citizen is allowed to transfer up to 250,000 US dollars per financial year, roughly 2.17 crores. And if you're a family of 4, that becomes a collective $1 million, around 8.7 crore rupees. Now, under this scheme, funds can be transferred for permitted purposes, property purchase, education, medical expense, even travel. What's not permitted are things like margin trading, lottery purchase, or remittance to non-corporate countries flagged by FETA. But for real estate, you're well within the framework. The next step is choosing how to move your funds. Most investors prefer traditional banks like SBI, HDFC, or Axis. Familiar names, secure transactions, and well aligned with RBI's regulations. That said, fintech platforms like Wise and Western Union offer faster alternatives with multiple payment options, from swift transfers to app-based payments. If you're someone who makes frequent or smaller transfers, RBI authorized dealers of Forex cards often offer the most effective and cost-conscious routes. And if you'd like to compare exchange rates before choosing a channel, online tools like Book My Forex or Xtravel Money can help you time the move well. Once you've selected your channel, it's important to ensure your documentation is complete. At the very least, you will need your passport, PAN card, and Form A2, a form that tells the RBI where the funds are going, why, and how much. If you're investing in a property, you'll also have to attach a developer's offer to purchase letter. For larger remittances or property purchase, your bank might request Form 15CA and 15CB. These are simply to ensure tax compliance under India's double taxation treaty with the UAE. In some cases, a source of funds declaration may also be required, not to question your wealth, but to confirm its origin under India anti-money laundering laws. Now, let's talk about taxes, because that's where the most investors pause. In Dubai, the answer is simple. there is no personal income tax, no capital gains tax, and no inheritance tax. The UAE remains one of the most investor-friendly environments globally. In India, however, we do have a 20% tax collected at source or TCS on foreign remittance exceeding 10 lakh rupees annually. But here's what most people don't realize. This TCS is not a final tax. It's more like an advanced tax, and it can be fully claimed back as a credit when you file your ITR. If your actual tax liability is lower than what you have paid through TCS, you'll receive a refund. To do this, your bank or service provider will issue Form 27D and you'll see the TCS credited in your Form 26AS. What if your Dubai property generates rental income? Or what if you sell it later and make a capital gains? According to India tax law, rental income is taxed under the income from house property section, but you're allowed a 30% standard deduction for maintenance. When it comes to capital gains, it depends on how long you've held the property. Short-term gains less than 24 months are taxed as per your tax slab, while long-term gains held over 24 months are taxed at a flat rate of 12.5%. But one of the most critical factors here is your residency status. If you've spent 182 days or more in India, you're taxed on global income. But if you've spent less than that, your Dubai income remains outside India's tax net. Now, if you're living in India and still want to minimize your tax exposure, there are several strategies I advise my clients to consider. For one, property transfer within family, say between spouse, parent, or children, are tax exempt under India's gift laws. Second, spreading your remittance across family members, especially those in lower tax brackets, can significantly reduce TCS burdens. Timing matters too. By planning your transfer strategically, say across March and April, you can spread the outflow across 2 financial years and reduce tax pressure. Then there's the mortgage route. Rather than transferring 100% of the property value, you could finance 50% via a UAE mortgage at a much lower rate, around 4 to 4.5%. This reduces your remittance, and under the double taxation avoidance agreement also minimizes tax exposure. And if you prefer to stay debt-free, look for projects with well-structured payment plans like Beyond by Omian, where 50% is payable during construction and 50% on handover. This not only keeps your tax planning aligned but also improves cash flow. You may ask, with all these costs and consideration, does it still make sense? Let's look at the numbers. According to CBRE, even in less favorable cycles, Dubai real estate has delivered 80% appreciation. In stronger markets, that number climbs to 10 to 15%. And in premium zones, during bullish periods, we've seen growth exceeding 20% annually. Even after tax implications, the appreciation curve comfortably outpaces the drag, especially when compounded over time. And that brings us to the larger question. Why are Indian investors choosing Dubai, and why now? It's not just proximity, it's policy. The Indian-UAE relationship is among the strongest trade and diplomatic partnerships today. With bilateral trade crossing 85 billion in 2023 and 24, that partnership translates into trust, and trust translates into capital movement. Then there's Dubai's infrastructure, future-proofed by initiatives like the D33 Economic Agenda and Vision 2040, and anchored by areas like Expo City and Dubai South. Compared to markets like London, New York, or even Singapore, Dubai still offers significantly lower entry costs. An average price per square foot in New York is around 1500 USD. In Dubai, around 300 USD, which is just over 26,000 rupees. Layer on top the Golden Visa and Investor Visa benefits, long-term residency, family sponsorships, access to premium education and healthcare, and you're looking at not just an investment, but a permanent alignment. Once you've paid 24% of the property's value and signed your sale purchase agreement, Dubai Land Department issues the Akood. At that point, depending on your investment value, you're eligible for a 10-year Golden Visa or a shorter Investor Visa. We also assist with opening your Dubai bank accounts for future payments, all seamlessly handled. Now, before we close, let's come back to the question I started with. What if I need to bring my money back to India? The answer is you can. If your money is in a Dubai bank, you can bring it back to a resident foreign exchange (RFC) account in India. These accounts allow you to hold foreign currency and repatriate it as needed, with interest being taxable but the capital staying protected. In conclusion, investing in Dubai as an Indian is not just a financial decision, it's a positioning strategy. It's about putting your capital where it's respected, your privacy where it's protected, and your legacy where it can truly grow. Dubai isn't offering noise, it's offering certainty. And with the right plan and the right partner, this city becomes a gateway to global value. Thank you for walking with me today. If you're ready to take the next step, or if you're simply looking for quite clarity on where to begin, feel free to reach out to me directly. Until next time, I'm Janvi Daryanani from Lord's Empire Realty, where we don't just guide capital, we guide legacies.